Hello, Dave here. Thanks for clicking on the video. I'm going to do an update on the aquarium, the Gala land. I never thought I'd be doing an update so quick, but there's been a few strange happenings. I won't go into great detail about this place. I've done 2 videos on it already, but I'll skip over it quickly. But before I do, I really want to say, and a shout out to a lad in Scarborough that's been helping me out with all sorts of things with Scarborough history. I'm not from Scarborough, I'm just a tourist. And there's a young lad, Kelvin, he knows who he is. He's been helping me out greatly. One of the things I couldn't get anywhere was any sort of pictures of the build of the Grand Hotel. That was one of the things I was really after pictures for, and tried the museum services and they had nothing. And this young lad come up with some cracking pictures, and he has done from he's really been helping me out a lot. So big thanks to Kelvin for that. This place, right, I'll just whip through it quickly. The storyline. It was a Victorian complex, supposedly built in Victorian times. Basically, there was a bloody big hole dug. They built this wonderful Victorian complex, and as you can see by the roadway that goes along the middle here, they buried most of it back again. As you can see here, these are the tops of houses, the tops of buildings. I don't know what the houses, what they are. And these little things sticking out here, these are the tops of houses. Oh, that's actually a false roof that's been put over there. But I'll show you that in a bit. It opened up as the aquarium, and not long after it was bought out and it was changed to Gala land. This roughly is the size of it. I might be a few foot out, 10 foot, 20 foot either way. But this is basically what we were told in Victorian times. The Victorians come along, dug a bloody big hole with nothing more than picks and shovels, horses and carts. This place must be about, 30, 40 foot high. So you've got to take the foundations into account. Then you're talking about a stream that's been culverted off below that. So the depth you went down to, the amount of muck you have to move, it just defies belief, really. This is the place inside. Absolutely splendorous building. Absolutely beautiful. Give you some idea of the height of the place, first off, but the length of the place. Looking up this alley here, I would think this is where the stream is supposedly culverted off underneath here. But I have some questions about that as well, but I'll get to that in a bit. This is just after it was completed in Victorian times. Yes, the phone call needed to get there. This in Victorian times, it's just after it was built completed. I've circled here because we're going to show you where the tram goes through there. And it says a lot about the building inside. This is where the tram goes through. Now the thing is here that really got me is the tram went through here into a purpose-built ballroom. Purpose-built glitzy ballroom. But these look almost like bare windows up the top here. It actually, somebody mentioned in one of the comments, it actually looks like a church pulpit almost, one high above the ground, and you can just see the opening there. Look at the size of their arch. What's all that about? And the picture of where the tram goes through here, this also got me baffled because, it's an internal ballroom, so why all the windows? I did think these were actually stone blocks, but looking a bit closer, they actually look like brickwork, but it doesn't make sense for the interior of a building. So these are the things I was questioning, really. Construction of the place. I can't find anything about construction, or I couldn't. I found this picture when they were laying the tracks on the top, but the buildings are already established, as you can see, both sides. And there's another picture that I found, which was this one. Now, when you think of the monumental scale of digging that hole I've just shown you, down to a depth of God knows how deep, sorry, you know, and this is the type of technology you're talking about at the time. Horses and carts, you know, picks and shovels. So, really, it's, well, the next one, this is before it was all built, this complex. I have a problem, this is only painting, I know. But they reckon the water was culverted off just prior to this being built. Now this is a painting long before even the Grand was built. Where's the water gone? Now I can see a pond there, I can understand that, but the size of this valley and what drains into this valley, you know, a good day's heavy rainfall would just blast this way straight through this. There doesn't appear to be any water down there going out, but, you know, it's only a painting, so. But this is a sketch of pretty much the same area, and long before the Grand Hotel, there's the Woods Lodgings up the top there. And what a flat area this is. You know, alright, there's a pond there, but, you know, a heavy downpour, unless that's already culverted off and piped off underneath there, which this next picture really shows that to a certain extent. Just blow it up a bit. See, this is the flat area I've just been showing you. That's the pond. And it looks as if it's been culverted off up there. That's all green. Then you have a pond, and then culverted off again. Oh, it's running through there. But, you know, it's a bit up in the air. But the thing is, the last video I made, as I do with all my videos, especially the ones in Scarborough, because I'm not from Scarborough, I'm just a tourist. I put out an appeal, basically. Anybody that's got information about this place, more I'm interested in the construction, who built it, when it was built, when the water was culverted off. You know, I wanted to know all these things because I couldn't find the answers to any of these questions I was asking. And then I had a strange email a few days ago, and it came by, you know, a friend in Scarborough who works for the museum service. And it was in the Scarborough News. And it's strange, nobody seems to have taken interest in this place, but, you know, 2 or 3 weeks after I put the video out about me not really believing the official narrative of this place, out comes a story about it in the paper. Now this bloke here, Jim Middleton, he's been absolutely fantastic with me. I mean, he must think I'm a right loon, some of the emails I've sent him, but he's been really great. He's helped me out with a lot of things, and it's a really good story. But as with me, you know, I try and look and read in between the lines, and, you know, I'm not going to go through the whole story. It is a very interesting story, and I'll leave that in the links for you to read through. But the things that really got me, I've checked out this gadget, Eugene, this Birch, you know, he was involved in it. But all the questions that I was asking all come out here. You know, there were very few hitches considering the scale of the job. Not only involved the removal of huge amounts of rock and earth, which I questioned. Water pipes and drains had to be diverted, and the millbeck, which is what I questioned as well, had to be culverted and piped below the beach. So I presume that that pipe below the beach, below that complex. But anyway, I mean, the most dramatic, you know, thing that happened, 20 yards of mud collapsed in. But I found it very strange after I put out that video. There's been no interest in this place for quite a few years, and then suddenly there is an interest. But one of the things Jim includes is this quotation, description of the proposed work from the Manchester Courier dated the 16th of June 1874, giving an indication of the extent of the proposal. Now this is where it really, you know, the clock thickened, as I say. The site of the aquarium is the old horse and carriage stand, so well known to all the citizens of Scarborough. And the intention is to excavate the whole of the space and the adjoining roads. Well, you don't excavate roads. You know, you excavate roads if it's a Roman road that you're digging up on a archaeological site. You know, if you're digging a big hole to build a building in, well, you're digging a big hole. You know, it's this excavate of the whole space and the adjoining road that really got me. Which will give the site a wider area. Over the buildings, a wide carriage road will be formed, giving a handsome approach to the sands. And, you know, for me, that's quite telling. Just that clip there, but might be a whole lot more to the story. I did try chasing up the Manchester Courier for that date and that, but they're wanting money and subscriptions and that, so I'm not that desperate to know. So it's really strange how this is, you know, just suddenly popped up out of the blue. And I've read through this a few times. I really advise that you read it. It's a good story, although I don't agree with some of it, but that's just my own personal opinions on things, and that's all it is, my opinions. But this bit at the bottom, I had a little chuckle to myself last night. There is much that can be said about the history of the aquarium and gala land, and it may well be a subject we revisit in the future. Well, I wonder why that is. You know, have I sparked people's interest? You know, because it's a part of Scarborough that's been forgotten, and they're just reigniting our interest. This is a couple of pictures here, really, that I'll finish off on. This is just after it was completely open, because it's still the aquarium. You can see it's called the aquarium. Photography was around, you know, photography was around at that time. This is the Grand Hotel, 5 years before that Victorian complex was started. So the quality of photography was quite stunning then. But sadly, with Gala Land, this wonderful place, I can't find any construction pictures. The great lad that's been helping me out in Scarborough, he's said he's going to pop in the library tomorrow at Scarborough, you know, to see if he can come across any pictures, because he doesn't have no pictures of the construction. And the thing that I bring into question really is, with such a wondrous building, and photography was around at the time, there's very little about it, you know, there's no, as it says in the article, there was no big fanfare on the opening, you know, it was nothing special. But when you think of the hundreds of families, in a sense, that were involved just in that one project, the hundreds of workers you would have needed, and then all the families with them, you know, and I'll, you know, maybe do another video with Scarborough and finding out, you know, during the Victorian era, the squatters era, as I call it now, not to make rebel without a pause fault. But, you know, the Victorians claim so much, and claim to have done so much, and what's getting proved on a daily basis now, that Victorians were basically squatters. They've come along and reused what was already there, or rebuilt on what was already there. So, this one's up in the air for now. Again, I want to finish off with this picture on the last minute, really. Any help whatsoever, the museum services, Jim, Kelvin, you know, can explain these arches. This is the big hole that was dug for the complex. The complex has been demolished into its own footprint. Now, maybe they might have needed to build a retaining wall to stop all the mud from falling in on this complex. But what's all this with the arches? What's all this with the inspection holes going through there? What's all this about? You know, I don't know, and I don't really know where to look to find out, so if you can help, you know, I'd be really grateful. So, you know, this project, this interest of mine, it's still up in the air, and, you know, if I find out any more, I'll certainly give it a shout. Thanks again for watching. Bye now.